Hello there, welcome to Courageous Consciousness. I'm DJ Gallo, and in this video today I wanted to share with you guys the 3 common mistakes I see energy workers make all the time. And I wanted to share these 3 because I know that when I first started doing energy work, I think I've been doing it now for about 8 or 9 years. When I first started doing energy work, I made these same mistakes all the time. And I see a lot of new energy workers making these same mistakes all the time. And I've even seen experienced energy workers continue to make these mistakes. And so my hope is that by sharing these 3 little things with you, that we can kind of help skip you past some of the early stumbling blocks of doing energy work and get you into a place of being a better energy worker, if that's what you're interested in doing. So without further ado here, I will tell you the first thing that I see energy workers doing wrong is they really try to affect or coerce the healing in the person that they're working with. And I can completely understand where this comes from, and I know I did this a lot myself early on. Because when you are first starting off as an energy worker, and especially when you first start charging for your sessions, you are really trying to make sure that you're worth your salt, right? You want people to come to you, and when they get off the table an hour later or however long they're on your table, you really want them to feel noticeably better than when they came in, because of course then you think, well, they're going to come back and they're going to see me again and again and again. And that's true. I mean, we really do want people to feel better when they get off the table. But the way of doing it is not by coercing the healing process. You have to remember that the healing process happens in its own time. What we are doing, sorry, I have a little cough here today. What we are doing when we are doing energy work is we are just facilitating an environment of energy in that person's, both in that person's physical body and in their aura and in the energy field all around them. And so you have to remember that the work we're doing is we're just channeling the energy, and the energy will be doing a lot of the healing work well after our session is done. So, what you really just want to focus on while you have your patient, client, the person that you're working with on the table, is you just want to facilitate being a very open channel. Now, let's say someone is coming into you and they are trying to address their back pain. Well, their back pain may be somewhat reduced at the end of an hour, but what will happen at the end of an hour, and I can almost guarantee this, is they will be a lot more relaxed. Any anxiety they had, any stress they had will probably be greatly, greatly reduced by the end of your session. And that alone is helping to facilitate the healing process. And the other thing I was going to say about this too is keep in mind that if you are trying to affect a healing or coerce a healing, and you've probably, well, maybe you've seen a few of my other videos on my channel here, one thing you'll know I talk about all the time is to make sure you are always working downstream. Remember, everything good that you want is downstream, not upstream. So when you are trying to affect or get in the way or coerce a healing, you are going really, really upstream. And that is not doing any good for you. It's certainly not helping the energy going through your body, and it's really not helping your patient whatsoever. So just allow. That's a big part of energy work. It's just allowing the healing to happen and to create the space, create the environment for the healing to happen. Allowance. It's a really big thing here. Now, the number 2 mistake that I see people make, and I think this is something that just is new to a lot of people, is I see a lot of energy workers who do not call on the patient's spirit guides or angels during a session. Now, if you're doing Reiki, I kind of understand this, because Reiki, they really don't talk so much about spirit guides and angels and stuff like that. But you have to keep in mind that every person you're working with, and of course including yourself, you have spirit guides around you, you have angels who are working with you have archangels who are working with you, and they have amazing, amazing healing abilities. So keep in mind, when you're working, when you're hands-on and you're laying hands on people, if you are finding areas of that person's body where there's density or blackness or heat or other things that you think you need to address, closed chakras, for instance, you can actually just lay your hands in that troubled area, and you can just ask for their spirit guides to come and work through your hands and help fix the problem. And certainly that can make the healing a lot deeper and a lot more effective. So if you haven't started doing this yet in your practice, just remember, it's something you can do at any moment. And in fact, you can even, in your prep, before you start working on someone, maybe you say a little prayer or something before you start working with someone, you can ask their spirit guides to work with you the entire session. And that will really help make things work even better, okay? Now, the third mistake that I see people making in energy work all the time is overthinking. And this one is very common because I think just about everyone overthinks everything in life all the time. And if you're like me, overthinking drives you absolutely up a wall. So I think one thing that a lot of energy workers do is, they'll be doing their techniques. If you're doing healing touch, you might be doing your chakra connection or your spiral meditation. Or if you're doing Reiki, you might have your hands on the shoulders or on the feet. And I think a lot of times people are just not living in the present. They're not, as an energy worker, you're not being in the present with your patient and allowing the healing to happen. Once again, getting to allowing, right? What is often happening is that you're really trying to affect the healing by thinking. You're trying to direct the energy in certain ways. You are trying to make sure that, different colors of light are going to different places and things like that. When you are giving energy work, it's fine to think sometimes. Sometimes you do have to think. But oftentimes, really, you should think about it almost as though you're doing a meditation for that person, right? And if you're doing a meditation for that person, you really want to be in that space where you are not so much thinking, but you are feeling and you're sensing and you're being intuitive. And you're not going to allow those intuitive sensations into your being if you are overthinking, if you have a lot of things going through your mind. Now, certainly, I think that, and I know this happens with massage therapists too, sometimes you'll be working on someone and your mind is going off to something completely different. Maybe your mind is not even overthinking the healing. Maybe your mind is overthinking, what am I making for dinner tonight? Or when do I have to go pick up the kids from soccer practice? Or, whatever is happening in your life at the moment. And certainly, if your mind is on anything other than the healing and being present for your patient, you are not giving them a great session. So my recommendation is, when you are working on people, really just make sure you're opening your channels up, allow the energy to flow, trust that the energy, the Reiki or healing touch energy, trust that that healing energy will go to precisely where is needed. That energy has its own innate natural intelligence. So do not be afraid that it won't go to where it's needed, and don't overthink that you have to coerce it to go to where it's needed. Trust me, Reiki energy, holy fire energy, healing touch energy, all of this energy will go exactly where it is needed to facilitate a healing. Your job is to get out of the way. And once again, your job is to create and facilitate an environment for healing. Okay? So these were my 3 most common mistakes I've seen energy workers make. I think that if you can kind of get yourself past these 3 initial stumbling blocks, you are going to go so much further as an energy worker. You are going to get more patients coming to you. Your existing patients are going to come to you more often because they will know the benefit of the work that you are doing, okay? So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I'm making videos Monday through Friday, and today is Thursday, so I will see you all tomorrow. And of course, I really appreciate if you leave a comment, if you hit the like button, and of course, if you subscribe. So thank you guys very much for watching. Namaste, and have a most excellent day.